what are you worried about with AUKUS, and what should Australia be doing instead?
Well, I worry we won't get any submarines. So it's a
bit of a problem.
Yes, it is. It's a submarine deal with no submarines. In fact, so, okay, in a nutshell, I mean, those people who are interested in this will no doubt know what I've written and spoken a lot about, but just to cut to the chase. The AUKUS has two pillars, Pillar 1, which is about submarines, Pillar 2, which is about other things. Nothing is going on with Pillar 2, right? No money's been spent on it, and that should be, that should be good, really, US, UK and Australia, but very little is happening there. So that's a missed opportunity. There's not much contention about that. AUKUS Pillar 1, what do the Americans get? They get $3 billion US from Australia to support their shipbuilding programs. They get a naval base, submarine base and a dockyard in Perth of enormous value to their Navy. And their plan is to rotate some attack submarines, Virginia-class submarines from Perth. Australia is meant to get 3 and possibly 5 Virginia-class submarines, several second-hand ones, with at least 20 years life left, and others balance being new from the US. But the US is not producing enough Virginia-class submarines for their own needs. And what I'm saying now is absolute fact. You can read all about it for the Senate Armed Services Committee, etc. So this is not my opinion. They're producing about 1.2 a year. They need to be producing 2. Their goal has been to get up to 2 for quite some years, but they have not been able to lift the production rate up above 1.2. The Congress, when it authorised the AUKUS arrangement, legislated that no boat, submarines called boats, can be sold to Australia unless the President certifies that the sale of it will not degrade the undersea capabilities of the United States. And it is generally accepted. I mean, Admiral Caudle, the Chief of Naval Operations, repeated this the other day in testimony, that the Americans have to get to 2.33 boats being delivered a year for them to be able to meet Australia's needs. They're basically producing half as many. And the first one is meant to be delivered in 2031. So, you go back 5 or 6 years, they were proposing a sort of gradual increase like that. Now, because it's just bumped along the bottom, and they've now got the SSBNs, the equivalent, they're Columbia's equivalent of your dreadnoughts, to build, to get to 2.33, you're talking about a vertical takeoff, which of course isn't going to happen. So I don't think we'll get any Virginias. I don't think we can complain, because the Americans will say, we've been completely upfront with you, we told you about this, you knew the risks, you took it on. It was a terribly bad deal, really stupid deal. So people used to say, oh, will Donald Trump like it? I'll say Trump will look at it and say, wow, how did that guy Biden do a deal as good as this? These Australians are amazing. What else can what are there any more deals I can do with them? They've got so much money and so little sense. Now, the partnership with the UK is the second part of it, and that is to design and build a SSN, attack submarine, which will be effectively the successor to the Astute class. Again, the UK shipbuilding industry, particularly the submarine industry, is in absolute disarray. I think of the Astute class boats that are currently in service with the Royal Navy, there's only one of them, HMS Anson, that can really go to sea. It is the chances of the first of those boats being delivered, whether it's built here or built in Adelaide, by 2040 is so low. I mean, it is just but it's a great deal for the UK. Why? Because they get lots of money from Australia. So essentially, I think AUKUS is a huge wealth transfer from the Australian government to the US and the UK. America's getting a base. You could argue that's good for our security. You could argue it's not. The UK is getting lots of lovely money. But, I mean, again, what I'm saying about the problems of the UK submarine industrial base is not controversial. The House of Commons recently produced a report on this, and they, you know, you can imagine that they were pulling their punches because naturally, you know, it's a government-controlled committee, but you can see even there it's a sorry mess. So I'll come up with what should we do? Well, we shouldn't have cancelled the deal with France. What should the UK do? I think what the UK should do is they should go into a partnership with France. I know that's contrary to political instincts, but France, on the other hand, does have a new SSN, the Suffren class. They are delivering a new one every 18 months to the Marine Nationale. It is a better size, it's a smaller boat, but very capable. I mean, but it's more affordable, smaller crew, and I think if you talk about what does Europe need to do, it needs to be able to defend itself against Russia, which clearly it can if it gets its act together. An obvious solution, if I was, Keir Starmer, for example, and I wasn't preoccupied with leadership issues, a state of mind I'm not unfamiliar with, I would be focused on doing a deal with France on submarines. And then, because what Europe needs is to have some common defence platforms rather than, everyone trying to do their own thing. So that's. I've often said I can bore for the world on submarines, so I hope I haven't bored you, so forgive me.